This is New Day Northwest.
Welcome back to the show. You know, as children grow, their bones, joints, and muscles continue to develop. An injury or medical condition can cause pain and limit their activities and everyday lives. The pediatric orthopedics team at Swedish is committed to getting kids strong, active, and pain-free. And joining me now are orthopedic surgeon Dr. Laurel Saliman and one of her former patients, Claire Banasky. Thank you both for being here. So Claire, I'm going to ask you first. You went to Dr. Saliman when you broke your foot, but while you were there, she found something else.
Yes.
What was it?
She found that I had a deformity in my knees called knocked knees, which caused my knees to touch and then my ankles to kind of be spread apart when I stand with my legs together.
No kidding. Yeah. And was that causing you problems?
My mom had always noticed that my feet kind of
moved in.
What was the word?
Turned in.
Turned in. Yeah. And she could tell that like I was walking funny, but I hadn't noticed much before.
Okay, so Dr. Saliman, can you explain what knocked knees is exactly and how you identified that Claire had it? I mean, it seems kind of like rare.
So it's actually not particularly rare in my world.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I'm used to just looking at kids and sort of monitoring their alignment.
Yeah.
So knock knees is when if you stand with your knees touching, your ankles do not touch. And so the technical term is genu valgum, so from the Latin, so you may hear me say that, but it's sort of the opposite of bow legs.
It's the opposite, so it's going in instead of out.
Yep.
So how is it treated?
So it generally surgically.
Okay.
There's a natural progression that kids go through as they age, from bow legs when they're young to then straight by the age of about 2 years. Then by about 3 to 4 years, they start to get that knock-kneed position. And then by 8 years old, they should get their normal adult alignment. So if they're still kind of knock-kneed over the age of 8, we start looking at maybe there's something we should do to help correct that.
Okay, so maybe there's probably a lot of adults walking around that are knock-kneed and didn't even know it. So what kind of problems happen if this isn't taken care of?
So it can certainly contribute to sort of wear and tear arthritis on the outer aspects of the knees. If you have patellar dislocation or instability, it can kind of make that worse. And it can sometimes cause some self-esteem issues.
Yeah, I would imagine. So Claire, she's talked about all the things. You went the surgical route. What was that experience like and how was recovery? And how old were you, by the way?
I think I was 11 for my first surgery and then 12 for my second.
For two, okay, yeah. So what was that like?
It was actually fairly smooth. The surgical team was super helpful and was just incredible to work with. And so was Dr. Saliman. And then the recovery time was also pretty nice.
And then as you've grown, it's probably made her life so much easier, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was so little that I don't completely remember, but I'm grateful that I did it. And
what are you up to today? You're in college now? You're in sports?
I am in sports. I row at the University of Portland, and I'm going into my junior year there.
Right on. Good for you. If Claire's condition hadn't been found and treated, would she be able to row? Would she be doing these things she could do right now?
There's a lot of physical activity that you have to be able to do to be a collegiate level athlete. And I think, I mean, it's possible. However, I think by having straighter alignment, it really helps you move through the world.
When it comes to looking for a specialist and say, you know, you're a parent, you've noticed something's wrong, like what should you look for when it's time?
So I think it's really good to use your pediatrician, your primary doctor, as an expert who knows sort of what you should look like. However, if you do notice your kids having some concern about how they're walking or how their legs look after the age of 8, I think it's worth having an evaluation.
Okay, one more time, because you know I'm going home and checking both of my children.
Yes.
If their knees touch, their feet shouldn't. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
So they should, yes. So you should not have your feet widely spread if your knees are touching.
Copy that. Okay. Well, then we've heard it all now. And if you have any more questions, well, contact the Pediatric Orthopedics program at Swedish. Just check out the website you see right there on your screen to learn more. Thanks to both of you.